to 360 Strong Women. Today we're going to work on upper body with dumbbells, and we're going to do a different kind of sequencing. So not your just regular curl and then fly, but it's gonna look a little different, but we are going to get into those upper back, upper arm body movements. So that's what we're going to do today. You're going to grab a mat, something that you won't slide on, and then you want to grab a set of weights. Possibly a little lighter today because we are going to be out in this range of motion. So something that you can hold it out here or hold it up here in a different position without losing your form. So make sure you've got a set of light weights and some heavies when you're closer to the body. So you may need a heavy and a light and mix it up that way. So the first thing we want to do is warm up our body dynamically, and we're going to do that right now and get going. Always want to warm the body up 3 to 4 minutes dynamically. Put your body in motion. And then we want to push this out. Get that vascular system set up. Then we're going to do the strength training portion, and then we want to stretch it out isometrically. Now we're going to do a little bit of legs, not too much, but we do need to warm them up, and big leg muscles burn big calories. We want to stretch them out and set them up for success. So I am always going to load the legs in my warm-up because I want my vascular system and my metabolic system really working for me, even if it's not a leg day. March that out. So you may need to do some jacks just to get that cardiovascular system going. Maybe a shuffle, which is just a vertical jack, taking your body in a different plane of motion. And then I want to, mimic some of the things I may be doing. I'm going to hip hinge forward. We are going to do one-legged deadlifts, but I want to open up that low back. So I'm going to keep a flat back, keep that up under my chin, just hinge at the hip flexors, open up my glutes, open up my low back, open up my hamstrings, so that when I go to do this, nice and flexible and warmed up. Beautiful. Staying in movement. Doesn't have to be fast movement, it can be slow movement. And I want side body stretch because we are going to be doing an overhead press in a triangle position. I want to twist out my spine, put some rinse into it, and get it nice and warmed up and flexible because we are going to be working into this area. And I might want to come side to side again, opening up those obliques because we're going to be working it. And march that out, breathe that up, and exhale that away. So make sure you have some water nearby. This would be where you would want to get some water. Then I'm going to go ahead and squat down, not bend over, to pick up my weight. So I want to keep my apple under my chin. I'm going to squat down and pick up those weights and not bend over, right? Bending over is a deadlift. You want to be bending over when you're doing a deadlift. Be cognizant about your form. But we're not bending over to pick things up. We're squatting down to pick things up. All right, I'm going to roll my shoulders back. So one of my arms is going to be in a front lateral raise while the other one does a curl. So we're going to do 15 of those, and then we're going to switch sides and do the other 15. Apple under the chin, pull the belly tight, split your stance because we want to protect that low back. If you're used to lifting and this doesn't make your back go here, right, you can do it that way. We offset this so that it allows me not to do that. I don't want to work into my low back. I want to work my arms, my upper body. So I'm here, I'm breathing. Exhale, inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale, inhale. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Then I may want to come side to side, work those obliques a little bit. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more. Then we're going to the other side. 3, 2, that feels good. And 1. Then I'm going to split my stance. Notice that I'm splitting it on the other side because I want to leave room for my hip to curl. And I'm bringing my elbow tight, and it's in front of my rib cage. I'm not curling back here, I'm curling here. This one comes laterally parallel. It's not here. It's not here, it's here. All right, and we work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, one more, and 15. Notice that I'm not shifting my back and forth. I'm not using my low back to lift. I'm using the muscles that I'm working to lift my bicep and front lateral raise, working the anterior part of my shoulder. So working around the deltoid. All right, now we're going to do a lat press and then go over the shoulder. So it's going to look like this. You could do one weight, or you could double up your weight. So if you're using light weights, you could double them up. So I'm going to come over the shoulder, lift, exhale, inhale, over the shoulder and lift, over the shoulder and lift, over the shoulder and lift, over the shoulder. Good, and lift. Bring that tight to your body, over and lift. Told you it was going to be a little bit different today. Exhale, inhale. Doing multiple muscle groups. Exhale, inhale. 4 more. Exhale, inhale. 3, 2, and 1. And you should have felt that up into your traps and your lats. So we're working that lat press, that up butterfly muscles, but I'm moving my shoulder girdle over in this plane of motion, up and over. So working in the shoulders as well. All right, the next one I'm going to squat down. Again, you can get water here if you need to. Put down one weight. I'm going to offset my feet a little bit, like I want to do a kickstand squat, right? Apple under the chin, head above the heart, tight abs. I'm going to take my weight, push it around for figure 8. Notice that I'm not dropping my head below my heart, and I'm not dumping my shoulders. I'm going to push it through. As I come up, I'm hip hinged. I'm going to row. Then I'm going to push it through, hinge, and row. Notice that I'm opposite, right? Row right, and then row left. Keep this tight. Those legs are loaded. They should be burning. And done. So your legs are burning there, a little metabolic, but getting that upper back. When you row, pin your shoulder blades back together. We are going to row again, doing another position. So we have bow and arrow next, and going to be a split stance. Roll the shoulders back. So my one arm's going to come up here in scapation. Then I'm going to lift my weight up here, pull my bow and arrow back, switch arms, pull it back. Exhale, inhale, exhale. 2 more. Last one, best one. And then bring your weight close to your body. Because you're all the way up here, you're in scapation, really working at that upper back. You want to keep everything really tight in the abs. And again, I'm splitting my stance so that I'm not using my back to lift, right? Solid. Boom. Boom, right? Pushing all the way back so you can get those triceps in a different way. So just working this unconventionally, if you will, but still working those muscle groups. All right, I'm going to squat down and pick up my other weight. If you haven't already, go ahead and get some water. We're going to do a one-legged deadlift and a row. So I'm going to roll my shoulders back, keep that apple under my chin. I'm going to hip hinge as I come down, tap down, up to a flat back, and row. Tap down, up to a flat back, and row. Tap down, up to a flat back, and row. Tap down, flat back, row. Tap down, row. One more time. Tap down and row. And then come up. And really feel that around that lower, what we call the abdominal belt, into your hamstrings, into your glutes, into those connectors, right? That connect your hamstrings and your glutes together, into your low abs. And then a nice row for that upper back. So again, going to the other side. Remember, feet are stable. Your ankle is your mover, your knees are stable, your hip is your mover, your low back is stable. Your thoracic is your mover, and my neck is always stable and neutral. Apple under the chin, find a focal point. Tapping down, flat back, row. Tap down, flat back, row. Tap down, flat back, row. Tap down, flat back, row. One more. Tap down, flat back, and row. Now, Beth, I can't hold my leg out there that long. Balance is hard for me. What could I do to still be effective with this, but not mess up my form? So until balance is a little easier for you, keep practicing, you'll get there but if you're not quite there yet, you can keep your foot on the ground. Tap down, flat back, and row. There is a way. Remember here at 360 Strong Women, we are way finders. I will find a way for you to work the muscle groups and keep you safe. Until then, do it that way and practice standing on one foot. Try to get up to that 30-second mark, right? Then your balance is going to become a little better. If you need more practice, hit our button, like, subscribe, and share. Join our tribe. Go into our playlist. There are balance exercises that you can do to really help with that. You could also do a good morning instead, right? That really works that low back. If you have low back issues, then maybe cut it down and don't do as many. We only did 5 on each side this time because I'm trying to meet everybody kind of in the middle. So there are some of you who are just starting out, and welcome, and keep going. Consistency is your best friend in this. And there are other people that are right in the middle. They're getting there. Their weights are a little heavier now. They're getting the form. And then there are those of you who, I need an up level, Beth. What do? Heavy that weight up, right? And then really try to extend that leg out. And then maybe more reps. So you can up level this. All right, so let's just go to the next thing. You've gotten your water. You've listened to me. I'm going to put down one of my weights. How do I do that? I squat down, keep my head above my heart. I am not going to get dizzy. If you drop your head below your heart, you're going to feel dizzy, nauseous, not good. We don't want that. All right, so this one, I'm going to slow it way down. It's going to look like this. Again, I'm going to be in a split stance. My foot's going to be out to the side a little bit though. Like I'm going to do an extended side angle in yoga. Perfect. I'm going to do an upright row. And then palm out, I'm going to push to press. And then I'm going to lean over and tap my foot, come up, and bring my weight in. Now, nice and slow, purposeful. This is going to work this whole side body here, right? Now, if you need, I can't get all the way down to the ground, no way. So I might do an upright row to a press, hang on to my quad, hip hinge here, and then come up. So one way or the other. If you're used to triangle pose in yoga, this should be a little easier for you, but makes a difference with the heavy weight at the distal end of your body. So changes everything. So purposefully, slowly, carefully, right? Here we go. Upright row, press, slide down. Notice not doing anything with my head, keeping my neck in a neutral position. Then I bring it down. There's a reverse curl right there for forearms and bottom of the bicep press. So we're doing a lot of work here. Upright row, press up, over we go, tap down, bring it in, reverse curl. Upright row, press, slide down, bring it up, bring it in, do that reverse curl. Upright row, press, slide down, up we go, bring it in, and reverse curl. Only going to do 5 on each side because it's a new pattern for most of you. If you've been with me for a long time, these are easy. You could go back and crush out 15. All right, setting it up again. Offset with my foot, like I'm going to do extended side angle, right? So if you're not familiar with a yoga position, triangle pose, or starting to work that extended side angle, you can go into our playlist and learn that position. Get comfortable with that without a weight, and it's going to be a little easier. So I'm going to do an upright row, press it up, slide it down. One side may feel different than the other. Exhale it out, bring it close to my body. Do that reverse curl. Upright row, upper back, come down, side body, all those big butterfly muscles, all the way down into the hip. Bring it down, reverse curl. Upright row, press it up, slide it down, bring it up, and in. Upright row, press, slide down. A lot of people use heavy kettlebells for this. We're using a weight today. You could use a kettlebell, but you'd have to carry the kettlebell a certain way. So go to my kettlebell training video before you use a kettle, yeah? Be safe with it. One more time. Upright row, press it up, come down for triangle pose, exhale that away, bring it in, reverse your curl down. Then I'm going to bring my toes to face 12 o'clock. I noticed that I kept my apple under my chin, head above my heart. And I lightened my weight up for that one, right? Because you're way up here and way down here. So a lighter weight to start, or practice no weight to start, right? You can do it that way. All right, we're almost done. I'm gonna get some water. I'm going to squat down and pick up both weights. Squatting down for my weights. So working into those back muscles. I'm gonna do a front lateral press and then a V press. Notice that I'm not moving my back and I've split my stance to keep it safe. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Two more. Last one, best one. Exhale, inhale, exhale, and inhale. I'm going to put one weight down. I'm going to lighten up my weight. We're going to do overhead tricep press, but we're going to do it with one hand versus hanging onto both hands and lifting up. The key here is control, slow, purposeful. Also my elbow being here and not here. I'm in shoulders here, I'm in triceps here. I want to be in triceps and I want to lighten it up because I'm only using one hand. So bringing it down, exhale up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, keep your back tight. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, one more, and 15. Bring that close to your body and rinse that out. You're going to feel that even with a lighter weight because we're so used to doing it this way or this way. Now it's a little more unstable because you're only using one hand. So slow, purposeful. If you feel like can't get there yet with my form, my arm wants to be here, use both hands. That's okay. You'll get there. Very different today. exhale. Inhale, exhale. Two more. One more. And then bring that close to your body and rinse that out. You'll feel the rinse, right? And you're gripping it, so you may need to open up those finger joints, wrist flexors, extensors, right? Always keep them open and moving. So you can stretch that out every time. And don't forget that thumb joint goes all the way to that elbow tendon. So if your elbows get tired, you feel that, right? Loosen them up. Work at the hands, fingers first, thumb joint, and then work into that elbow joint. All right. So now we're going to do assisted curls and stretch your arms out. So I'm going to come a little lower. I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit lower because I want to be in a yogi squat when I do these assisted curls. Notice that when we do upper body, a lot of times I'll start with biceps. Tire out the biceps, go to triceps, and work through the body that way. I've tired out your upper back muscles and your triceps. Remember when we do a curl with a bicep, the primary mover is the bicep muscle. The secondary mover is the tricep. When I do triceps, the primary mover is the tricep and the secondary mover is the bicep. When I do shoulders, same thing, right? Front and back, we're working primary, secondary muscles. So that's why sometimes when we do upper back work and I'm using your arms to get there, you're like, my shoulders are tired. So by the time we get to shoulders, they're very fatigued because we're still using the shoulder muscles. We don't want them to be a primary mover, but they're still a secondary mover. All right, so your biceps could feel tired because I tired out the rest of your body first and waited for biceps last. So the first thing I want to do is find a nice yogi squat. Now, if you can't get into yogi squat, you can certainly take your toes 12 o'clock and get into a nice squat position. Either one works. If you need stability, you can put a block underneath. All right, and because I have light weights today, I'm gonna use both of my weights. You don't have to. So my tricep's gonna go to the inside of my thigh. My other hand is here to assist me if I need it. Exhale, inhale. They're getting heavy. They should feel heavy by the time you get to 15 reps. If you're not used to doing it, they may fatigue out before that. That's okay. The key is keep your form. Once you lose your form, stop. That's where you're at, and then you're going to work up to that. So not everybody is at 15 reps, and then we move on to the second set. Not everybody's there yet. So it could be, I'm up to 5 reps, and my form, I'm too tired. So go there. 5 reps is good. Then maybe the next time, try 6 reps and work from there. So meet yourself where you are. Please don't feel defeated if you can't get to the 15 reps. It's okay. Once you get a little stronger, your muscles will adapt and you will get there, I promise. So I'm going to go back into my yogi squat, make sure I've got that, and then I'm going to the other side. Exhale, inhale. That's 12, 13, 14, getting tired, and 15, but keeping my form. Perfect. I'm just going to go ahead so I don't have to move the camera again and sit down. I'm going to hinge forward so I can stretch that low back a little bit. Because when you're sitting in a yogi squat like that, you are stretching that low back, but you have to find core to keep it there so you don't hurt yourself. I'm just going to move these over and hinge forward, and that's going to feel really good. Notice that my joints are soft. So I've got oxygen coming in. I'm feeding the stretch, and I'm just going to come up, and that's going to feel really good. So I want to just come into a comfortable position, and I'm going to stretch your body out. So triceps, I'm going to lift up over, pat myself on the back. Breathe in and out. So tend to, when we're in isometric holds of any kind, abs, doing abs, stretching, we tend to stop breathing. So keep breathing, keep sending oxygen to your body. I'm going to internally rotate, staying away from my elbow, grabbing onto my deltoid. Well, that feels good. And then I'm squeezing and stretching that shoulder, but also working my hand, my wrist flexor, my extensors. We want to keep our joints fluid, stretch, safe. So lion's paw, open up those digits. I don't think there's a person on the planet now that doesn't have a smartphone or a computer and isn't constantly on it doing all kinds of things. So our hands get very tired. And then wrist flexors and extensors get very tired. Dorsiplantar flex, circle it out. Keep your hands from getting a ton of arthritis in them by moving them. Then I'm going to take the top of my hand, put it into my low back, roll the shoulders back and reach over, and that feels good. So making my nice chicken wing. If I slide my hand up a little bit, I get a little bit more of a stretch. So depending on where you are, then I can move my chicken wing, stretching those rotator cuffs out. And that feels good. Let's slide that down. And then I may need to, lubricate at the elbow joint too. And that feels good. Then up over on the other side. Pat yourself on the back. Lift up. Come around. Stay away from my elbow joint. Squeeze that in and then begin to work at the end, the distal part of my hand. So lion's paw. It's like, retracting. Think about a cat that throws out their claws and then pulls them in. That's lion's paw. This should feel really good. Open and closing the fingers, working that thumb joint. You should feel that all the way. You can look at your forearm and see it moving. And then circle at the wrist. Want to keep our hands and our joints healthy. Then I'm going to take the top part of my hand to the low back and reach around and stretch. It may be in a different place. You may have more range of motion on one shoulder than the other. Could be an injury, surgery, where the muscle originates onto the bone. So we're not biomechanically balanced. That's okay. And then you can move your chicken wing and stretch out. It should feel good, right? The AC joint. Open them up. And then open up your chest. Oh, that should feel good. And then I'm going to lengthen my arms up. Drop down and do a nice side body stretch. Remember, we were leaning over and working those obliques, so we want to stretch them out. So, tick-tock over, get this other side, and stretch that out. Should feel really good. Then I want to just come to the other side. Both of my hips are planted down. The lift up. Stretch out, other side. Up we go. Beautiful. Now I want to get my upper back muscles too. I'm going to come into a hero's pose like this, right? But I'm going to face you. So I'm in hero's pose, and I want to bring my shoulders up and down, and then round out the back, forward and back. We are going to do cat-cows too as well, up, down, forward and back, just to stretch that out. One more time, up, down, forward and back. And then I'm going to make cat-cow by putting my body in a tabletop. And we want to make sure, again, form over everything else. So I'm hip width. If I put two fists between my knees, I am hip width. I'm going to drop down and stack. Shoulder, elbow, wrist. Softness in the knees. Hips over knees. Apple under the chin. Flexion in the back. Soften the belly. Put that flexion in. And then push into extension, round out that back. That should feel good. Opening up your lats, your traps, your rhomboids, all those back muscles. Feel space. Think about opening up your rib cage and your vertebrae, putting space in between them, oxygen in between them, so you feel a little taller, a little longer, a little stronger, and you've got space. You don't feel so compressed. And that should feel good. So the last stretch that I want to do for you today is an external rotation of the shoulder. I want you to do this slowly and carefully because I'm not there to spot you. So watch me one and then give it a try. So I'm going to lay down on my mat first. My arms are going to come out to a T. The first thing I want to do is put my rotator cuff, my AC joint, right into the mat. Now you may need a block to put your head on. Apple under the chin. I'm just going to keep my neck strong enough so I don't need a block. But if you need stability, if this starts to hurt, put a pillow or a block up under your head so it stays in neutral. Then I'm going to lift my leg up and drop it down and roll. Now you could use this hand for stability, or you could take another bind with your arm and open up that shoulder as well. So we did internal rotation of the shoulder. Now we're doing external rotation of the shoulder. And I'm using the mat, the floor, to help me get there. And then gently roll back. And then we push to the other side. So pushing down and then rolling out, making sure I have an apple under the chin. So here, this is stable, neutral. So you may need a block here. Take my foot. Now, the closer your foot goes to your glute, the more of a stretch you're going to feel. You may need to keep your arm up here. Use it for support if you need to, or you can take a bind and open it up here. And then breathe in and out. And then gently roll back. Now from here, I might want to open up my low back by bringing my elbows to my rib cage. My thumbs are going to touch, so I'm hip width or shoulder width. I'm just going to lift up my torso, squeeze my legs together. Now I'm in baby cobra and working at that low back. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see a little bit better. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze legs together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze legs together. Arms here. So for some of you have low back issues. You may be here, and this is as far as you can get. So you're going to work to it. I'm going to look at the end of my mat and breathe. Squeezing everything together. Glutes, legs. So my legs are not flopping open. They're squeezing together. Now I'm going to try to lift up a little bit more. Breathe in and out. And try to lift up a little bit more. And breathe in and out. And I'm going to bring my arms to shoulder width. Bring my knees wide to the mat. Big toes touch, sit back. Stretch out to child's pose. Now it's going to lengthen through my spine again. I'm going to feel the shoulders stretch. I'm going to come to tabletop. Take one more cat-cow. And then come to a seated position. Your upper body stretch is done. We stretched low back. We stretched the, now you could, if you need to, twist this out. Feel a nice stretch there. So you may need to rinse that out a little bit. You can do that in Lord of the Fish pose. Just give it a little twist. You could do that. But we did cat-cows. All of the shoulders, internal, external rotation, really worked into these rotator cuff muscles, up into your traps, lats, rhomboids, side body, got it all. Did the upper body strength. Now you did do some legs. I snuck them in there for you, called a compound exercise where we were doing an upper and a lower body together just to make it all the more great for you as far as metabolic burn. Nice and slow, purposeful, because we were doing the muscle groups in a different way, different for most people. So it's just another way. Remember, we can do 5 movements with our body. We can push and pull. We can walk and sit, so squats and lunges. And then we can rotate our body, transverse movement. That's all we can do with our body. So I came up with some sequencing to, make curls, make triceps, make shoulders, lats, traps, rhomboids, obliques, quads, hamstrings. Make the movements a little bit different. So you're still working muscle groups, trust me, multiple muscle groups in this sequence, a little different. If you're just new to me, maybe go back to some of the other upper body workouts until you know you're on point with form, where things should look, how it should feel, and then maybe dive into this. If you've been with me for a while, this is a perfect one for you. Just give your body what are you doing? Because we always want to move every day, at least 20 minutes. But everybody say it with me. We want to make it varied so that we don't overtrain, so that we keep our body guessing, what are you doing? So that we can keep moving forward on our goals. And that is the goal of that. So 20 minutes every day, movement. Varied every day so we don't overtrain those muscles. All right, so this one's a good one for you. I enjoyed making the content. I hope that you enjoy the workout. Leave me comments below if you have questions about any of them, like I watched it, but I wasn't sure exactly what you were doing. I can break that down for you, no problem. Make sure that you've got weights that are appropriate for you. So have some lighter weights for this particular one, because you may need it for this, right, and this, because you're holding this one isometric while you're in mover here, and then we change it out. Most of my, girls, my boot camp people I've worked with and trained for a long time, they're evened out now, so they can go heavy, but if you're just starting out with me, you may want to go light, and then closer to your body, you can usually go a little heavier. All right, don't forget to hydrate your body, 8 ounces of water. I will see you for the next video. Bye.